Hey everybody, Barry here again. It's time to make a change. The truck's not done yet. It's not even ready for the road yet. And I'm already making changes. My wife warned me about this. That I was going to make changes before it's even ready, and I am. Right now, the truck has 373 gears. Absolutely fine. It's a good middle of the road gear ratio, good for highway mileage, good for darting around town. It's not too sluggish, it's not revving out. But I'd like to have something a little bit more aggressive. So I'm going to step it up to 410s. That's where this truck comes in. Joey lent me this truck and gave me the gears so I can take the rear diff out of it, take the front diff out, and swap my parts. Now, because mine is all-wheel drive, it doesn't have an actuator like is on the front of this truck. So I'm just going to see if I can change just the passenger side axle housing, and we'll find out if that's going to work or not. As for the rear, I may take the full differential itself, but then I have to go and modify it, cut the spring perches off, put them on the bottom, and then weld them back on. And I already have that done to mine, so I may just take the center section and the pinion. But we will find out. This truck is so long. It's an extended cab with an 8-foot bed. And I'm terrified to put it on the lift. It's completely full of parts, but I guess, it's just seats and headliner and dash and stuff, so it would have been in the truck anyway. But I'm a little bit nervous about having it on the lift, so I'm going to go around and check all my bolts in the floor lift here, just to make sure that nothing is, going to scare me a little bit if something wants to shift there.
Well, that makes me feel a lot safer. Let's put it up in the air and start removing parts.
That is absolutely terrifying. The truck is so long. Not to mention rusty. I hope it doesn't fold in half. Well, the part we're after is right here. This is the front diff. I just got to remove this skid plate right here. And I'm going to remove this one also just to get a bit of light in there. Relatively easy to remove. A couple bolts, one right here and one on the other side. The bolts here for the CV axles. And then a couple of bolts over here. One is right there. And one is right here. Where's the other one? Oh, here we go. It's right up here. I know you can't see it very well, but we'll get closer anyway. I'm going to get these parts taken off and we'll get a better look. Well, I got the axles out. They just unbolt from the flanges. That makes it nice and easy. I need to now remove the front drive shaft. Look at this. It has factory U-joints in it, like the original factory U-joints. That is nuts. Wow. This is a 20-year-old truck now. This is why Chev is the best. If this were a Ford, he would have already replaced the truck by now. Easy as pie. Now this was leaking, you can see, and I'm hoping that nothing is burnt up in there, but we'll deal with that when we get to it. I'm going to replace the front side axle seals anyway while I'm in here, because, why wouldn't you? There's only knock that flange off and then put new seal in. And this side here, I'm really hoping that I'll be able to just replace the outer whole axle housing like this out of mine. That would be sweet. I'm going to continue on with the time-lapse thing because this is going to be a very, very big job. And it's going to be a long video if I do everything in real time, and everybody's going to be absolutely sick of looking at my face and hearing my voice. So I'm going to time-lapse it and then stop with some key moments, and we'll go as we're doing, and we'll get the job done. I think when this one bolt right here comes out, I think that's it. I have everything else unbolted. This one here is out. These two, like we discussed earlier. Ooh, it's loose. Oh yeah, man, look at that. It is ready to come out. This is going to be, I mean, it's not real heavy, but it's super awkward. Also, I suppose I should knock the caps off of that U-joint. Get some light going on here. Should knock the caps off of that U-joint so that it can let go. And then I think it's ready to come down. Well, this is going swimmingly so far. Also, I should apologize. I'm still getting used to this thing, so if there's any really high or really low volume moments, I'm still getting used to it, so forgive me. One thing that's really, really cool is with this thing, you can hear me. I don't have to yell. There's no big echo like there has been for the last, I've got 1,000 videos on YouTube, I think, and none of them have had this little microphone thing. So this is absolutely a game changer. I'm embarrassed that I haven't had one sooner, but my boss got sick of my audio being freaky, and he's like, I ordered you one. I don't mean the boss of my YouTube, I mean where I work here at Carquest. You get the point. I actually didn't expect it to come out like that. All I had to do was turn the wheels all the way to the left and then just kind of jimmy it around and get it down into place. Or out of place, I should say. Okay. Well, we're looking good so far. Great. Not in bad shape. Very, very nice. Now we're going to see how this thing comes apart. I haven't actually done one of these, but I think it literally just undoes. I don't know. So I already just loosened this one here up with the pipe wrench. Just going to let that pour out whatever fluid is going to come out through it. I don't need this stuff because mine is all-wheel drive again, like I said. It looks kind of metallic, doesn't it? Now, I don't know how this speaker is going to react to noise, so let's see. Sorry if that's blowing out the speaker hardcore there. Well, can't say I expected that to be so easy. Wow. Wow. Seriously? Dude, I have myself so worked up over that. All that stuff falling off. Nice. It looks kind of nasty. I guess that's to be expected, isn't it? Okay. It just feels old, really. Doesn't seem to be anything. No chunks coming out of it, so that's a good sign. Oh. Well, I guess when I get my front diff out, we can continue on with this, but I'm going to let that drain anyway, because I'd rather not have all that old nasty fluid in there. I am so surprised that worked as well as it did. So I think this is going to work. I really do think this is going to work, because what we have is this collar that just slides. You can see how this free spools right here. We've got our actuator, which I just took out, that literally just pulls this gear in and out through the use of this fork. But for simplicity's sake, all it does is free spools like this. So you put it in four-wheel drive and it locks together. That's it. And now your axles can spin. The only difference here is all-wheel drive is constantly engaged. It's just one shaft from the end out here directly in until it goes into the center section. So it's always engaged. The all-wheel drive front diff is supposed to be stronger because you don't have this disconnect point here. You don't have parts in here, bearings, and look at this, play and stuff like that. You don't have this with the all-wheel drive one because, again, it's one complete shaft. Now, people have made like 1,000 horsepower with these front diffs and never had any issues. I'm not going to be anywhere near that. I'll be happy with 500 when I get the turbo on it. But, I mean, it's all-wheel drive anyway. The transfer case is all-wheel drive. So why would I want to disconnect that? Well, let's move on to the rear diff. Now, Joey checked the RPO codes on this, and he said GT5, 410 gears. Well, I've got to pull the cover off anyway, so I'm going to go and count the pinion teeth versus the ring gear teeth just to 100% ensure that it is 410 gears, because people do all kinds of crazy stuff, and who's to say somebody didn't put 342s in it or something? Or the RPO code is wrong. I don't know. It's nice to make sure for myself before I go bolt it in and then find that my RPM dropped down 500 because it's a different gear issue. Those bolts don't look fun. Diff cover is off. Everything in here looks just fine. Again, the oil is really old, but at least it's not chunky. I marked the tooth right here and I started counting. And I came right back around to 41 teeth. Now, I'm going to make an educated guess and say that the pinion is going to have 10 teeth. I can't see it really, but as soon as I get the center section out, I'll count the pinion teeth, and when I confirm that it is 10, meaning 41 divided by 10 is 4.1, and that would mean we have 410 gears. Here's everybody's favorite limited slip, the Gov Bomb G80, and it looks fine. I may do the thing where they take this spring and sort of weaken it up a little bit so that governor lock flicks out sooner, but I'm not sure. That's just a maybe. I've seen a couple of videos on it, but I don't want to overdo it and end up messing it up, so maybe I'll just leave it for now, but we may revisit that in the future. This smells nasty. I'm going home for the night. We'll check back in the morning. I was so careful. Put a cup down to collect the last little bit of gear oil from the diff, and I just knocked it over with the air hose. Every time. I got the brakes off and got the calipers, rotors all taken off. And there was a couple of really scary spiders and I thought I died for a second, but I got through it. So now, just take out this little pin. Oh no, I got my ratchet stuck again. I always do that. Every time. Look at that. Put the pin all the way back in. There we go. Yeah. This pin out. Hoping everything is in good shape, and so far it looks just fine. So far everything looks just fine. Not saying that everything is just fine, but pop that pin right through there. Oh yeah, look at that. If they're messed up, they don't usually come out that easily. Beat you around. I kind of went the wrong way there. There we go. Now I just pop the side axle in. Alright, now that we've got the side axle pushed in, we can just release the C-clip here with a little magnet. If it'll work. Come on. There we go. If you didn't know, this is the only thing holding your side axles in. Yeah. And they like to wear. This one actually has a nice groove worn in it here, so I'll pick out which ones are best from my truck or this one. And use the better ones. Now, I can go ahead and pull out the side axle. And repeat. Repeat again. And now 4 bolts and a really big nut are the only thing stopping us from taking this stuff out. One thing I'd suggest doing, and what I just did, is take a bunch of pictures. Because the caps have their own sides. Everything is worn in its specific pattern right now. So you don't want to take a left cap and put on a right and the wrong shims on either side. So take lots of pictures, and I'm even going to mark the left side with some paint and like mark the cap. I'll even just mark the bolts because why not? Just make sure everything goes back where it came from. Now I'm going to be marking the shims and stuff for the left side here too, because these shims are going to follow this differential. These caps are not. This is just best practice anytime you're doing anything like this anyway. Okay, well, this all came out very well. Looks fine, bearings look fine. Everything in there is good, no springs broken, nothing crazy like that. When I was taking it out, I took the caps and the bearings and put them on their respective side. Laid them down here on the floor. I know it's not ideal, but I don't really have a workbench. So the cap is right here, and I'll just throw that with those bearings. Again, I'm not going to be using that cap, but just because I've got myself used to it, that's what I do every time. Pinion is right here. Looks just fine. Looks great, actually. It's funny, there's not a mark on the pinion. So I'm just going to throw a new outer bearing in, new crush sleeve, and a new seal, and full send. I'm just going to lay this right down on the floor, pick it up with a forklift, pull it outside, and when I get the guts out of my rear end, I'll go and throw it in this one. Joey just wants to be able to move this thing around the parking lot up at his shop, so I'm just going to put my center section back in here, bolt the side axles in it, and maybe I'll even bolt the cover on just because why not. Well, I just picked up the pinion and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to count the pinion teeth. You ready? All right, we're gonna start with the one with like the wood chip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We've got an extra tooth. Let's do some math. 41 divided by 11 is 373. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Well, that was a fun exercise in how to take out a differential. And we've got a car cleaning coming in like 10 minutes, so I gotta slam this thing back together like really quick and pull it out. All the things I get myself into. I should triple check. I did count these teeth, and I'm gonna count again. If there's 40 teeth, I don't know if the math checks out then or not, but I am gonna check it out again just to be 100% sure. All right, so I'm just gonna paint this tooth right here. And I'm going to count the painted tooth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. Well, we got 373s. Well, I gotta throw this all back together as quickly as I can and throw it outside, and then we'll come up with a new plan. Well, I've got the truck pushed back out. It's not much good to me now. Well, I did get a couple things off it, though, actually. I got this piece here. I'm not sure if it's a factory piece or not, but it goes on the back of the tailgate right on the top. And it's almost like a miniature ducktail, which is kind of cool. I don't know if it's factory, but I took that off. And I decided to keep the front diff because my wife's Escalade has 373 gears in it. Desperado has 373 gears. And if for some chance I blow up a front diff, it'd be nice to have a spare one. So I think I'm going to go and just keep that, put it in a pile somewhere, put it out in the back garage and forget about it until I need it. Not a total disappointment today, but, well, I mean, I didn't get a lot done. I didn't actually accomplish anything. But I did get to pick out another rusty Chev truck and pull a couple parts off of it. And I'm really, really excited about that little ducktail tailgate cover thing for the truck, though. That's pretty sweet. So I will have to revisit the gear ratio swap. I don't quite know if I am going to continue actively looking for a set of 410 gears or if I'll just stick with the 373s for now and focus on saving up for a converter. Really, really need one of those, and it's absolutely killing me. The truck is like lurching and stuff, and I had to turn the idle right down so that it's not pushing through the converter. So just got to tune around it the best I can. So thanks for checking out the channel. Thanks my YouTube members, patrons, and subscribers. If you want to check out my Patreon, it's patreon.com/stationroadratrods. YouTube members link is down here. And thanks for watching. Have a great day, everybody.